Hello, guys. Welcome back to Lunatic Astrology. I'm your astrologer, Lori Lothian, and today we're talking about April 2022 and your sign, all signs forecast, and how this is going to play out. One of the best months of 2022, bar none, guys. We're finally getting out of the gritty, tense, hard to deal with, malefic, sloggy, dark energy of a sarpa yoga in the sky that ends on the 24th of April. We have all planets moving in direct motion. We have a glorious 150 odd year super rare Jupiter-Neptune conjunction full of rainbows and unicorns. And we even have the end of a really difficult cycle that began back in 2020 with the Mars conjunct Saturn that is closing out with a new Mars conjunct Saturn on April 4th, which begins a new cycle, but at least closes out the old one. And just in case you're wondering what was that old one, that Mars conjunct Saturn cycle corresponded with the lockdowns for the pandemic. So yes, I do believe we're finally seeing the very last sign that the worst of the pandemic is behind us and that we're moving back to a time of freedom. All right. Now, before I go ahead and do the all signs, of course, I will address a small 5-minute section on how it might impact the collective. There are a lot of things this month that are going on. I won't cover all of them. There's a new moon on April 1st. There's an eclipse at the end of the month on the 30th. Check out my eclipse videos because I'll go into so much more detail than I can possibly do here. But we will focus on those two things I mentioned, the Jupiter-Neptune conjunction on April the 12th and the Mars-Saturn conjunction on April 4th in this video for your sign. Now, before I go forward, like, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications because then you know when I post something that really helps my channel grow. And don't forget, if you comment, I listen, I read, I respond. I'm a very active astrologer and it helps my channel as well when you comment. Lastly, it's my birthday. I'm turning 60 years old. Guys, I kid you not, on April the 4th. I'm baking in that Mars-Saturn to my solar return chart. And I'm doing a special. I'm going to give away my All Signs 2022 value is $47 right now. It's on sale for my channel since like back in December. I'm giving it away for free as my birthday celebration for the month of April. So if you're listening to this video, check the description box below and grab it. How do you get it for free? You sign up for my Cosmic Moonshine newsletter, a swig of weekly astrology news every Sunday in your inbox. If you don't like it, you can always unsubscribe. But when you do subscribe, you're going to get an immediate link in your inbox. Check your spam for a link to all signs, Aries through Pisces. Each video is at least an hour long, detailed insight into the rest of the year ahead. And hey, we're only like 1/4 of the way into the year. So you've got a lot more juice that you could be looking at for the year. This sale will end, okay? This is happening between now and I probably will close it down around the 21st of April. And so it's only a temporary sale. And second of all, I just want to get my newsletter to go from my 860 subscribers to 1,000 as my birthday present to me. And I'd like to get my channel to also bump up, okay? So this channel is almost at 4,000 subscribers. I'm 150 subscribers away. If you're not subscribing, would you do that for me for my birthday? Thank you. Happy birthday to me. I'd love to reach 4,000 subscribers. Okay, guys, let's get rolling. Now, first of all, guess what? Oh, and by the way, with my newsletter, when you subscribe, you get a 30% discount code off for any reading with me, one-time use. So again, it's worth being a subscriber to my newsletter. Let's get going and talk about why I think this is such an amazing month for the world. There's a thing called a sarpa yoga where all the planets are wedged on one side of the north and south node axis of the chart. And we've been plagued by that since the beginning of 2022. And that is a hardship energy. And it means things get stuck. Wars happen, the Ukraine, plagues happen, difficulties, calamity, natural disasters. It's just, blah. The sarpa yoga is being cleared out and broken through by Mercury's passage on the other side of the nodal axis on, what's the date? Thank you, Mercury. April the 24th. So after that, things really lighten up. Second of all, we have no retrograde planets in the month of April. How amazing is that? Even Mercury is going direct. So you can get a lot of forward momentum in your life, and so can the whole world. We can start to move forward from places where we felt stuck and stagnant, and we're getting all cylinders going. We're running on all cylinders, right? We're moving forward collectively in some way. Now, that doesn't preclude disasters and things happening, because don't forget that sarpa yoga is in place until April 24th, but there's still a feeling of getting a fresh start and fresh momentum. I love that feeling for the spring. And then next of all, We do have this amazing reset with the Mars-Saturn conjunction on April 4th. Yes, Mars and Saturn together can make you work hard, grind to get something done. We'll talk about that, how that might look in your chart. But it's also Mars and Saturn in a trine to the asteroid Isis. Now, to me, is it Isis? Yeah. Are they in a trine to Isis? Yes, Mars is trying to Isis. And to me, there's something about that that's fertility. Isis is a goddess of the Nile River flooding and flowing over and opening up, portals of fertility and goodness to the world. Also, she's the goddess who repaired her broken husband, who cobbled him back from his absolute total disrepair when he collapsed into 1,000 pieces and was, apparently distributed around the world in corpse-like pieces, and she picked all the pieces together and restored her husband. That's a really bizarre story, but you can take the Isis meaning from the Egyptian mythology to mean restoring something that was deeply broken and bringing it back to wholeness. So I am hopeful that the plague cycle is over. That's where I'm going with this. This is the end of the cycle of the pandemic in earnest. Omicron is going to be endemic. We're going to look at a bad cold or flu. Very few people will be severely ill from it, unless you are immune compromised or very elderly. And it's going to move us back to where most of the world's going. No more vaccine mandates, no more mask wearing and stuff like that. So that's my hope. Okay. I'm just hoping for that. But I already said Mars heliacal rise and Scorpio would bring war drums. I predicted that all through my videos in November and October and December, and here we are. And yet with Ukraine war, and yet I did also say that same heliacal rise would spell the end or cast the end of the cycle of the pandemic, which it did. Okay, so let's get going and talk. Oh, I'm going to sneeze. You can see that I'm all dressed in my spring wear, even though it's still winterish here. I'm just trying to get in the spirit of Easter, spring, renewal, refreshment today. So the Jupiter-Neptune for the world is an interesting story. Back in April of 1856, Jupiter met with Neptune in Pisces. That's how rare this is. And this synodic cycle of the two planets meeting in Pisces, okay, it's the Pisces piece that makes it rare. It lasted, it lasts about a month, really, that they're in orbit of each other. And so in April of 1856, there were things like new maritime laws were passed, and all this good thing happened with regards to things with the end of piracy and freedom on the seas and maritime laws. A lot of good things happened regarding things to do with sea, because Neptune is a sea god. And now we don't really have as much to do with ocean liners and seas now that we're more oriented towards air travel, obviously. But look for some kind of an energy around seafaring, travel, oceans, maybe this positive. It's a bit of a rainbows and unicorns feeling for the world. I mean, we could be deluded into overly optimistic hope. The last time Jupiter went into Pisces in 2020, between May and July, there was a cessation, all right, or a slowing down of pandemic restrictions, and masks were dropped and everyone was getting vaccinated, and we all thought everything was going to be hunky-dory. But then as Jupiter got out of Pisces again, all the hope faded and we went into the Delta era. We could even say that for the Mars and Saturn for the world. Okay, why? Because when the Mars and Saturn conjunction happened in March of 2020, it was the beginning of lockdowns. It was when everybody was panicking over the pandemic. And then throughout that whole time until this reset coming in April this year, Mars had to go through the sky, and he created what are called angular relationships, right, to the planet Saturn. So for example, back in January of 2021, Mars was in a Taurus, traveling through Taurus and squaring Saturn in Aquarius. So January of 21 was, as we all know, a really gnarly time in the world that was connected to the post-2020 election, and then the insurrection that happened, or the protests that were happening, and the energy that was all discombobulated around the election, the presidency, the protests. That kind of played out there. It really wasn't so much pandemic-y at that point. Although that was when the vaccine rollout was announced and there was emergency use authorization, and there was this glimmer of hope in that first quarter, or it's like a first quarter moon energy of this cycle that we were in. And then in late July, In July of 2021, late June and early July, we got the opposition from Mars to Saturn for the whole world. And that was the beginning of the pandemic again. Oppositional energy to that Saturn in Aquarius, air sign, lockdowns of Saturn, restrictions and rules. And Mars is that energy of the plague making God. And we ended up going into Delta land with new lockdowns, new restrictions, and all of that, spinning out of July. I mean, it really was, if you don't remember, by August, people were noting that there was a new variant and people were concerned about it and things were beginning to change again. And so it sort of ushered in that shift, I think. That's my humble opinion. But also then in November of 2021, there was the last quarter square between Mars and Saturn. So Mars is, going to finish the story from Scorpio squaring Saturn in Aquarius. And that was very much a story about the Omicron variant being revealed to the world. And of course, the first thing we did was go into panic mode and do lockdowns, because even though South Africa declared it a relatively mild strain and that the death rates and illnesses were really less severe than anything they'd ever seen, the world went into restricting travel, cutting off travel to and from South Africa, locking everyone back down again. So you can see how that played out with Mars wanting, Mars is a plague god, okay, just end of story. And Saturn rules restrictions and lockdowns. So that's done. Hallelujah. All right, April 4th, Mars is done. Oh, that story. He's starting a new story. Sorry, am I moving my table again? He's starting a new story. Something brand new is emerging here. I think he's finished with the plague making for sure, the lockdowns and restrictions for sure. I don't really know what the new story is with the Ukraine war going on and all that tension with China and the potential Taiwan situation. China siding a bit with Russia with the Ukraine story. It just could be a 2-year cycle of geopolitical, really gritty tension going on in the globe, in the world, for everyone to bite their nails on and chew over. That's best I can say, because this next 2-year cycle is initiated once again in that zone that's Aquarius, which is about larger groups of people and social groups of people, and rules with Saturn for rules for people, rules for the collective, rules for groups of people. Mars would like to kind of like change things, break things down, break through things. Okay, that kind of stuff. Yeah, I'm going to leave it at that. So let's get moving. Now, reminder, your rising sign is going to be more accurate. It represents the moment of your birth, and it represents the eastern horizon at the time, called your ascendant, ascending sign, rising sign, same idea. Go cast your chart at astro.com or astro-seek.com. It's easy, it's free, and you just need to know your time you're born, and you're looking for the ascendant, AS or ASC, when you're looking at your chart, it'll be on your left-hand side, and that's your rising sign. It's the eastern horizon when you were born. All right, so check your rising zodiacal sign first, then your sun and moon sign are useful. If you're born in the day, I think the sun is actually very accurate for you. At night, you might feel more aligned to the moon because that's your sect light in a traditional astrology. And I am using whole sign houses. I am using the whole sign house system in my practice, and it is, for me, game-changingly the most accurate. And I'm going to bring this up in the context of when I'm talking about your chart and you have a Placidus chart, don't pay attention to your chart. We're talking about whole sign houses relative to the rising sign and your sun and moon secondarily. And sometimes your sun's good for career and purpose delineations, and your moon can be more how you feel about things. And in India, they always use the moon as a part of your forecast, the Lugna Lord or the Lugna, the ascendant kind of vibe, and then the lunar vibe is very critical. So I think listening to all three and taking what works for you and learning what's most accurate for you over time. Certainly, like me with an Aries stellium, including my sun and moon in Aries, I do always relate to the Aries forecast, even though I'm an Aquarius rising. All right, so we're going to get going. I don't know if you guys can hear that there are huge numbers of birds squawking outside my window, but I need it open because it's so hot in my apartment at this time of year. The heat's still raging in the building and it's warmer outside, and I have to compensate with lots of open windows. So I'm sorry, there's a crow fight outside my window, but that's just a part of nature. So if you're hearing it, enjoy the backdrop of crow arguing with crows, arguing with crows. Okay, let's start off, of course, with the Aries. I think I'm going to have a playful time to draw a card for everybody out of the Animal Spirit deck for April. I just feel like a card would be a nice addition to the sky story. But before we start, don't forget, like and subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. All right. I just dropped a bunch of cards on the floor. Oh my God, give me a minute. Sorry, guys. I hope my video is not all choppy and skippy. Again, it's on and off here. I don't know if it's the internet. or something, because my laptop has been really acting weird too. So I might need a new computer. Okay. So let's get rolling on this all signs delineation for you and me. Aries sun, Aries moon, and Aries rising sign. The month of April in your story. So first off, I drew a card from the Animal Spirit deck for you just now. I had paused my recording not to shuffle through the book. And I got the Tiger card, Aries, and that's so you. Tiger, burning bright. Yay, Tiger. Keywords: lunar force, ease in darkness, and feminine energy. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but when you're in balance in April, you are passionate, strong, and sensual. And out of balance, you will be overstimulated. And when you're in balance, you can bring yourself into balance by candle gazing. Oh my gosh, I haven't candle gazed in years, just meditate by gazing at the candle. So yay, Tiger energy. So let's get going about why I like this for you. This card I drew is really reflective of a jam-packed sky in Aries right now. So you guys are having a big party in April in the house of you. Chiron has been there for a long time, since 2019. Of course, the sun is there because it's Aries season, right, until the third week of April. And Mercury is trundling as well through the sign of Aries, along with Athena, the goddess of wisdom and knowledge. So you've got a lot of Aries vibe in the sky, so which is making you very busy, very active, very energized by the number of planets in your rising sign first house or near your sun or moon. Number two, I like the idea that this reset of Saturn with Mars, right, starting a new cycle of something you can dig into with endeavor energy, right? Saturn is strict and disciplined and perseverant. Mars is action, passion, and drive and getting something done. You're kind of resetting this part of your sky, which is your 11th house. Now, this is your social groups and your groups of belonging, your larger friendship circles, but it can also reflect your the aspirations you have, what you want your life to look like, what dreams you hold for yourself. Like when I think back to like my reset as an Aries back in March of 2020, even though there were lockdowns, I was doing a lot of resetting of my energy around 11th house things. I think to do with like building out my business as a coach, right? I'm a business coach online, and I did a few rounds of something called the Do What You Love with the Magic You're Born For. And I love coaching entrepreneurs as well as doing my astrology. And I really did set a goal to do that. And I did an amazing couple of years doing business coaching stuff and astrology for businesses. But, I'm going to reset myself. What's my new goal? I actually know what it is, but I'm not going to tell you. It's a secret. But you get the idea, right? So you might have a new dream, a vision, a goal, a new 5-year plan, kind of coming into inception in the month of April and really getting a good start, grounding it in new action that allows your goal to become a real thing over the next 2 years. Sometimes with Mars up here and Saturn, you could feel frustrated or restricted because Mars is kind of like, let's put the foot on the gas kind of vibe, and Saturn might be, let's wait a bit. So this feeling of being a sort of not sure about going forward, not sure if it's time to move forward, not sure if you should go forward now or later, that kind of indecision and frustration with your goals, but also with situations with alliances and collaborations with friends could be very prominent in the month of April. But I like that the restart is in that house of karmic and cosmic rewards. Fairy godmothers live up there, and you could really reset your highest ambitions and goals and dreams, and beautiful energy in the sky for you. I like also that while this conjunction happens in your 11th house, you also have the Vestal flame of sacred devotion up there, along with Venus, the goddess of money and friendship and light and being liked and popular. Sometimes the 11th house can act like a fame house. And there's even Juno, the goddess of partnership, a very busy stellium in Aquarius during this reset. So partnering with others or getting a bit of a fame or micro celebrity going in the month of April, all very possible for the Aries people. With the Jupiter-Neptune, really rare, like don't forget 1856, rainbows and unicorns conjunction on April the 12th. In your second house, I apologize, in your 12th house, there's a lot of dreaming going on here. And I'm honestly thinking of all of the signs, especially Aries rising, your night dreams can be the most important thing you've had in your life. Like, you weren't alive in 1856 to have this 12th house, deep meditation, reverie house suddenly activated, the house of your dreams at night with a dream god himself, Neptune. So you could download a great idea, a vision. You might have some kind of channeling going on, some kind of supernatural experience, maybe talking to an angel, bumping into, ascended masters in your dreams, things like that. It's definitely very on the woo side. If you have any addictions or bad habits, Jupiter is helping clean that up. Well, he's going through Pisces and he's there till mid-May and back again in October, November, December. So yeah, you're getting ready to like drop all of those things that self-undo you, addictions, bad habits, and patterns. And yet when he meets with Neptune, it's kind of dreamy, visionary, alchemical, magical energy. So it could be all of a sudden something that plagued you in an addictive way is suddenly just dropping off and no longer of any importance to you. I'll give me as an example. I'm very transparent. Everyone knows I'm a wine slut and I love my wine and I consider myself a gray zone wine drinker. But during this time, even though this is happening in April 12th, Jupiter has been moving towards Neptune. We've been all feeling this all through the month of March and into the precision touchdown on April 12th. And I decided to let go of my wine and take up a new habit, which is one can of apple cider, like, hard cider, like organic apple cider a day. And I don't crave wine anymore. And that 5% apple cider a day is totally working for me because I don't need to have any more than one apple cider, unlike a glass of wine. And I always want a second. So for some of you Aries, you're going to find this release from a self-addicting habit, pattern, or belief, self-sabotaging strategies kind of dissolving. Dissolving is a good Neptune word. Jupiter, luck, grace, and truth, and Neptune dissolving away, releasing away those things that undo you. Last but not least, if you want to do online money making, like you do PayPal and Stripe accounts, which is kind of like 12th house stuff because it's barter and trade from foreign shores, this can be a really good opportunity to do something fresh and new being presented to you energetically that's very rainbows and unicorns. And Neptune is about film and video imagery as well. So maybe, starting a new YouTube channel or hitching your PayPal processor to some kind of online social media thing you're doing with video and having things really begin to lift off for you. And if you're looking for a guru, spiritual teacher, enlightenment, Neptune and Jupiter, there are guru cities. So in comes your enlightenment teacher, the guru, teacher, guide, spiritual mentor that you've been waiting for, incoming, inbound in the month of April. Very karmic relationship as well. Sorry, guys. I touched my desk, which is like a drafting table, and it wobbles. So every now and then I have to like stop and secure the desk. Okay, moving on to Taurus, sun, moon, and rising sign. Now I'm going to draw a card for you, and I am never shuffling the deck. I mean, I'm never like I'm shuffling it, but I'm never pre-preparing it. So it's all very spontaneous. Oyster. Okay, so guys, you have oyster energy giving you some kind of power during this glorious refresh, reset month of April. Let's take a look at oyster in the book. So Taurus, the oyster story, patient secret keeper, hiding the inner treasures. Now, the key thing is when you're in balance in the month of April, you feel blessed, generous, and masterful. And when you are out of balance in April, you are reluctant, gripping, and you clam up. And the best thing you do to bring yourself into balance in April is to share something. Okay. It's really about sharing your inner gifts and not being doubtful about your talents and gifts. Okay. All right. So Taurus, let's talk about the sky story next. And that is that you're going to experience this energy of, let's start off with with the Saturn, Mars, April 4th conjunction in your 10th house of purpose, success, ambition, and career. This is a new beginning. Go back to March of 2020 when this happened before in the sign of Aquarius. All right. So this is a second pass. And back then it was, telling you something about resetting career, resetting purpose, resetting goals. Okay. Now you're doing it again. Now, if you're a Taurus, like my daughter, who's a student, this is resetting your goals around being a student. So look at that and ask yourself, how are you possibly doing a new beginning and a fresh start? And with Saturn there and Mars there, don't feel frustrated because there can be a sense of impatience about getting something going. So you could find yourself literally bumping into some conflict or something, or difficulty getting a new fresh start in the area of work and career. You might bump into a Saturnian figure, like an authority figure, kind of gnarly energy that you have to push up or, ask for permission to move forward on. But my sense of this is that you're definitely in some way going to find that you're having a new beginning and a fresh start. All right. Something is opening up big time for you. And don't look at it like you have to, don't look at it like you have to make something happen. I really want to be clear about that. I often find that people take astrology and they try to use it like a blunt force instrument. there's something percolating as a fresh start. And you're only going to be knowing what that is when you get to the first quarter phase, when Mars finally goes into a square to Saturn. So, and that's several months away. So just relax. And especially for Tauruses who don't like change and are very, very particular. All right. I have to say about knowing what's coming next. You know what I mean? Like really having to figure it all out and, but there is change happening here. So you're having a change of purpose, a change of career, a change of ambition, a change of public reputation and status, stuff like that. There is energy that supports you up here in the sky. Venus, the goddess of love, beauty. She's bonifying the whole place. She's friendliness. You could be very popular in the work. A woman in power in your workplace might lean in to support you in some way. You're just really experiencing a huge amount of energy there. And there is a bit of a sense that with the grace of Venus, you're going to have some luck in getting a job. Like you say, you want to apply for a promotion, apply for a new job, get a new, any of those things that could really, really work for you Tauruses right now. So look for that potential in the month of April. And Vessel flame is there. So in your career ambitions and goals, don't get a job you don't like. Don't get something that doesn't feel like you really want to tend the flame of the devotion to the work. And so be very picky in April about any changes in the work, whether it's a position, a promotion, or a new work job direction. Okay. Pick something you're going to really love, especially with Venus. She wants you to have joy in the story of your, of your career. She wants you to feel excited about it, having fun with it. Now, you have that Jupiter-Neptune reset button, which is so amazing. And that's going to be happening, as I said, once every 160 years. So it's your first and only time in Pisces that Jupiter and Neptune come together in their conjunction and new beginnings start in that part of the sky that is Piscean, which is your 11th house of your dreams and wishes for your life, your highest goals, your aspirations. Now it can be windfalls and pennies from heaven and nothing like lucky Jupiter there. So you might have some kind of lucky money downfall, windfall event happening. You're expanding maybe into new friendship circles with this reset here. And you may find that your social groups are going to be very much growing in a new way around spirituality, around your higher visions. Like collectively, you might connect with new people who share a spiritual vision with you, or who share a way of seeing the world. Collective imagination is Neptune in the 11th. And so how are you tapping into something up here? Now, hey, if you want to have a spiritual guide or teacher, Neptune and Jupiter will bring that on for you. Okay. So don't hide from that story. Okay. You could definitely find yourself really connecting to some kind of guide or mentor who has a very spiritual aspect to them, more transpersonal energy. A psychologist and transpersonal psychology would be an example. I like this energy. It's just a pure bolt of luck in your 11th house. So getting favors from friends or allies or people want to help you, offering you a favor that really supports you in life. And certainly with Jupiter being engaged here, he is the ruler or the owner or whatever, the master of your 8th house of other people's money. So yeah, you could get a bank loan. You could get government money coming to you that they owed you a tax rebate, an inheritance bequeathment. Your spousal money can increase, your partner's money, but there's some kind of chunk of love in the money story in this Jupiter-Neptune piece that is pretty dreamy. And I know people keep worrying about Neptune being the god of illusion and delusion, but I'm not worried about it because Jupiter's benefic and he's in his home sign. Okay. So I'm thinking this is going to look good on your money story for you Pisces, Tauruses of the world. And I wouldn't be all nail biting about it being an illusion, delusion, especially in the very blessed house of good spirit, which is full of karmic rewards. So look for a money uptick here as well in your sky this month. And reminding you, things get all better and better and better as the month goes on. So pay attention to the sarpa yoga ending, hallelujah, around the 24th of August. So some of the stuff that's really good that I'm seeing for everybody, some of the real freedom and momentum are really experienced in the 3rd week of April and onward. All righty, let's keep going and let's do the next sign, which of course is good old Gemini, sun, moon, and rising sign people. Now, Gemini people, I'm going to draw a card for you first and foremost, and then we're going to talk about how amazing this sky looks for you in April as things go forward in a couple of areas of your life. and freedom reigns. Yay, freedom. So Gemini, the message for you from the deck today is the Black Egg. Okay, so this is one of those, she has a bunch of non-animal cards that are kind of the mythical, mystical stuff instead of the actual animals. So I'm going to read Black Egg to you, which is in the back of the book. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Black Egg. It's very mysterious looking, isn't it? So Gemini, what do you have to say? What does it have to say to you? Sorry, it's really awkward the way she's not alphabetized this, guys. I apologize for the delay. For some signs, I've been stopping the recording and getting to it. She's got unicorns back here and dragons and stuff. Black Egg, okay. Black Egg is speaking from an authentic voice, the truth. It is, there is no shortcut for these ones. So it has to do with writing, teaching, reading, singing, public speaking, using your voice to speak truth, speaking from a true place, not an unsure place. It's connected to the fifth chakra, the throat. And it really is an essential feature for writers, editors, musicians, and teachers. Okay, so getting aligned in April with your true voice is basically what I'm seeing. And, you know, voice and vocation are not separate from each other. So your calling, your voice, your vocation, your vocari are all themes of April. So let's get going and talk about what the sky says for you in this regard. So Gemini, you guys are experiencing that, that Saturn and Mars combining forces in your ninth house. Now, in the ninth house, when they come together like this, and I remind you, they are trining a fertility asteroid, Isis, as well, which I mentioned early on. But I'm going to do that more in depth when I do the monthly video. But it does have some auspicious qualities to it. And this Mars conjunct Saturn energy is a reset and a new beginning that's going to last 2 years in the area of your sky that has to do with your dharma, your purpose in life, your meaning of your life, your beliefs, your religious beliefs, your hopes, and like, where do you have faith? What do you believe about the meaning of life? There's a big reset here, but go back to March of 2020, when you also reset that part of the sky, when Saturn and Jupiter came together in the early degrees, 0 degrees of Aquarius. So it's nothing new. You've done one round already. Here is round 2. I think that you may find, if you have any goals or ambitions around going back to school, higher education, academia, that this could reset your orientation there, Gemini. But if not, then this could also have to do with foreign shores and travel to foreign lands, or even removing or a desire to move to a foreign land. And it's people from and things from foreign lands are really accented. Now, even though the reset is in the month of April, of course, this is a beginning of a new 2-year narrative. You could literally feel like you have a lot of drive, focus, ambition, and perseverance to get like your doctorate done, your dissertation, your studies you're focused on them, this, especially in the month of April. And you may also find that you have a great sense of ambition if you really want to dig in to things to do with the ninth house, which includes book publications, book publishing. So if you're a Gemini writer, then this could be really like finishing that book or digging in to find that agent or things like that. So, you know, I like when Mars and Saturn come together. If you're not really, you know, angry at the fact that Saturn means you have to work hard for something and Mars gives you the drive to do it, this is a place in your sky where you can get a lot of stuff done, plain and simple. And you expect that ninth house to continue to be a priority for you over the next couple of years, as it has been for the past couple of years. All right, next, Jupiter is co-joining in the sky with Neptune in Pisces for the first time since 1856, and it's happening on the 12th of April. And it's going to be an influence that's quite significant. It's a real beginning of something fresh and new in your Pisces zone. You're going to be not able to parse this because in 1856 you weren't alive to compare notes, but it is a buoyant, optimistic, happy, enchanted, lucky vibe, and it's in your career house. So if you are expecting to do well in your career, you're going to do better than you think in April. It's all offering you up some sort of new power and leadership or favors from those in power. You could even find that your Neptune is your vision for your and how you imagine your career and your success in your career being amplified. If you're in the entertainment industry, you're in the movie industry, an actor, a writer, a screenplay writer, a producer, even a film editor or musician or songwriter, that Neptune is very strong for you guys. And so those of you in those professions who are a Gemini rising will likely find this an extremely positive development in that part of your life that is those kinds of career paths. And if you use YouTube like online like I do, or moving imagery, and then Neptune rules that stuff like the filmography and videography stuff. So again, a real uplift in career for Gemini rising, especially Sun and Moon secondarily, regarding the use of your visual moving imagery in regards to your career. So yeah, think of it that way. And lastly, higher visions and dreams can come to you for how you would like your career to look. Okay. You're moving it to a new elevation of profound imagining of what is possible in your career. If you're doing a vision board, make it a career vision board. If you want a vision board on the day of this conjunction, because it's angular, it's in your 10th house, it's important. It could really help you see the way forward in your career to something new and fresh and expansive for you, and lucky as well. So that's about that. Let's move on to the Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising sign people. We're going to talk about your sky in the month ahead using, of course, that Jupiter conjunction with Neptune and the synodic recycling of the Mars-Saturn story. But before we do, let's draw a card from the Animal Spirit Guidebook for you. And today your card is the Cobra. Oh my God, that's really a snaky card for the Cancer people of the world. Let's take a look at what Cobra means in this particular book. Cobra is in the earth signs, I believe. And let's take a look, because she has this all alphabetically ordered, which frustrates me every time. It's not like you can find the actual thing without having to flip through manually. Give me a minute. I know I should just pause the freaking recording, really. This is the one thing about this book that in this woman's card deck that I don't like. Her name is Kim Kranz. Taking me a while. Cobra must be the last one. Yes, near the last. Cobra. For you guys, Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising, pausing, waiting, the inner teacher in April. So it's the inner teacher, the spiritual guardian energy, hovering and watching, ever present, ever protecting. Okay, that vibe, this inner teacher within you. And are you ready to learn something new? It asks. Remember the old saying, when the student is ready, the master will appear. So when you're in balance in April, you Cancers, you are a student of life, and you are humble and you are wise. And when you're out of balance, you know it all and you're egocentric. Watch for that in April. And how to bring yourself into balance is take a class and study. Well, my sister is a Cancer rising, and she's learning in this new, she's a Reiki healer, this new form of pendulum healing. So that fits very perfectly for her April, because she's really digging in now, getting ready to study. All right. So Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising people, in the sky story for you, there's this beautiful, well, let's start off with the harder part of it. It's like the Saturn conjunct Mars vibe first. Let's start with that. Saturn conjuncting Mars in your sky will bring you a kind of reset in your money story. This is where you have your bank loans and your mortgages and your investment plans and your spousal held monies and inheritance and bequeathments, and maybe taxes that are owed or taxes that are coming, credit card debt, things that are other people's money, where you leverage someone else's financial money to use for yourself. Now, the good news is, as this reset happens, right, in this part of your sky with Saturn and Mars, which Saturn can look like an advisor, by the way, getting a really good a monetary advisor going and taking new directions and actions in your prosperity and all of that with Mars. But you do have Venus, a money goddess, in Aquarius at the time of the reset, kind of bonifying this story and bringing her eyes to the table. And she may bring you she is at the end of the story. She's 29 degrees, but she's still there until April 5th. So it's kind of like she looks back over her shoulder and says, I'm going to bring you some money goodness. You'll see. So I think this is setting a cycle of new prosperity for you. When this happened back in 2021, can you go back March of 2020? What was going on in your money story? What were you doing with your savings and your investment monies and stuff like that? Now you're doing something new. And if you're married, your spousal money, if you have a business partner, the business partnership funds that you create together are in the 8th house as well. So this is all a new beginning energy, but it does have yum Venus bonification, and Juno is in that part of the sky. You might partner with another to, especially in business, to increase your financial gain, or you and your spouse may do something together to increase your financial gain in those 8th house kinds of developments. Now, and also, I think that, don't be precipitous in actions right now. Mars will act quickly, but Saturn will slow the horses and put the reins on. So be measured and respond cautiously and soberly to opportunities for financial gain, like a stock investment or something. It may take time, Saturn, but you may find yourself moving in a new direction around the building of your wealth. Now, next, you have this Jupiter-Neptune reset happened in 1856. You won't get it again in this lifetime in Pisces. This is your 9th house of foreign shores and foreign lands. And for some of you Cancers, this is a move to another country. There's no doubt about it. You'll find your dream place to land in another shore, another land, another country, not in April necessarily. It's a promise, though, that's being given to you in this part of your sky. Now, if you want to go to university or school or college or anything like that, or you're already there, this is some sort of blessing zone of enchantment and luck here that's really opening up some new vistas of how you can dream or imagine your educational path going. Or you might be learning something, Neptune, Jupiter, that's hugely woo. And this is going to come through in April, where you see what it is you're supposed to learn. Like, Jupiter would be the teacher professor in your 9th house, but Neptune is like, shall we teach you how to transcend space and time, or how to, raise the dead, or how to talk to dead people, or how to channel angels and things like that. The source supernatural transpersonal influence is strong here. If you are looking at winning in a court case, because Jupiter is the god of law in the house of courts, the 9th house, this is a time which you are likely to succeed. But the Neptune piece can bring some confusion and fog in the story. So be cautious and patient as things unfold in the 9th house of court dealings. But it's more or less more positive than it's not, because Jupiter is in dignity and Neptune is participating in that dignity. And Venus will be going through Pisces as well, April the 5th through to the end of the month. And she says, if you want to win in court, I'm here to help, especially if you have a female lawyer, or she'll bring you more money than you expected in a settlement, things like that, if you're a Cancer rising. Lastly, getting a visa, passport stuff, travel, that's all kind of very 9th house. So some of the stuff may smooth out in April if there's been glitches, and goodness will come for you in that area of the sky, especially with Venus's help after April the 5th. Anything else? Your religious and spiritual beliefs are the 9th house. And this is like a very spiritual Jupiter, truth, God, wisdom, guru, Neptune, enlightenment god. So this could be a real breakthrough for some Cancers in what they actually believe is true about reality, the world, and their relationship to your relationship to the divine. And so pay attention around April 12th for your dreams at night as well. The 9th house is a between the worlds, or Metacosmos house. It was associated with pilgrimages and going off to see the oracle. And so maybe you're going to go off to see an oracle or do a pilgrimage, but even if not, it's like you could have a very clean and direct experience of divine knowledge or wisdom come to you during the month of April, even if you're not looking for it. Even if it's not something you're questing for. All right, let's go ahead and let's talk next about, of course, good old Leo, sun, moon, and rising sign people. Let's draw a card for you guys. First and foremost, we don't want to leave anyone out on the animal spirit guides for April. And what did you get? You got the card Gazelle. I like that card Gazelle. I don't know why it's just so pretty. It's an earth card, and we'll take a look at what the Gazelle says in the book and check it out. I'll be right with you. The Gazelle card is about heightened awareness and ability to be vulnerable. And it represents the supreme grace with every move, awe-inspiring beauty and sophistication, elegance, all of that stuff. And it's about being in the present moment and connecting to your breath, and just appreciating the bounty that surrounds you. So when you're in balance with this energy, Cancer, you are graceful, you are perceptive and artistic. And if you fall out of balance in the month of April, you'll have food allergies, insomnia, and a racing mind. That's pretty clear. And if you bring yourself into balance, how? Yin yoga, a cozy home and good food. Alrighty. So keep it in mind. No racing mind for you guys, you Leo folk. Did I say Leo? Leo. Okay. So Leos, the first thing I want to say is with the energy of this synodic reset that last happened in March of 2020 as we went into lockdowns of Mars at conjunct Saturn in your 7th house of marriage. Ask yourself what it is in your marriage house that you are thinking of resetting. And it may not be a, like a hard energy. Like it could be like, hey, honey, let's get a divorce, or hey, honey, let's, go to a counselor, or let's reset something. But it is pretty significant. And maybe you did have a marriage reset back in spring of 2020 of some kind, and it's back for a review or a second pass. And same would go for business partnerships as well. And it can mean you're going to work more hard, like work harder on your marriage and business partnership energy, put some real effort and diligence and determination and grit and perseverance into getting your relationship off the ground. Because I'll tell you one thing, if you're in an existing relationship, as you are, for those who can't, Leos who are, Saturn going through here is hard on your relationship. It makes your relationship feel like an obligation or a duty. Significant committed love stories feel hard. And Saturn's been here since December of 2019, 2020, and be here till March of 23. So now Mars is saying, I'm here. Grit, determination is Saturn, and Mars, action, new directions. Okay. Now, it could be that your partner is going to have new directions, nothing to do with you, that your love partner and business partner is going in a new direction, and you're just looking back and watching it happen. So it could be very much more about their story than yours. Yet Saturn is conjunct Juno, the marriage and commitment goddess, bringing a sense of either make or break hardship to that energy in the sky at the time of this conjunction, which happens on April 4th. So you could have an argument with the one you're with, and it could almost teeter on a breaking up energy. So be cautious if that's not something you really want to experience, that's for sure. And also, Venus is here. She's trying her best to bring friendliness, kindness, and love to your significant other stories. But she's ending her journey there. She's anaretic 29 degrees on the 4th. So she's going to try her best to smooth it over if there's conflict in this part of your sky. But it's a reset for a 2-year cycle. Remember that it's not just about this month of April. So what fundamental resets and redirections in the marriage and business partner sky are you doing? If you're a Leo with an audience, marketplace, and clients that you have to sell your stuff to or reach into the audience realm like me, then you will find this is also a reset in how you do that part of your story, or how you reach out, how you sell, how you market, how you reach your audience, marketplace, and other. Okay. So there's that reset too. Could be some serious frustration sometimes when Mars and Saturn are together, feeling stuck and wanting to move forward. Be patient. Something new is trying to birth here. Now, when it comes to Neptune and Jupiter co-joining together in that Pisces zone of your sky for the first time in 160 odd years, well, this is Pisces zone is your money house that doesn't belong to you. Spousal money, alimony, palimony, inheritance, bequeathments, taxes, rebates, other people's money, and secrets and kinky sex. Okay. So there's a reset. Jupiter is trying to bring something good here. He's here till the middle of May. He's been here since December, trying to amplify your financial well-being, especially in that part of the sky. Stock markets can take off, like not in the collective, that's probably going to crash, but your stock can take off. But Neptune's here, so just be a little careful. It's foggy, it's a little unsure. This is a little caution just for you guys. Don't invest in if it looks too good to be true for an investment, it might be. But on the other hand, Jupiter isn't great dignity here. So I'm more convinced it's going to be mostly a good opportunity financially for a lot of you Leos to really up your financial gain. So look for, the middle of April, around the 12th, particularly a few days on either side, for some financial opportunity. Jupiter rules opportunity, and Neptune, I don't know, may have to do with a Neptunian field of endeavor, music, film, video, photography, that kind of thing. And also, it's a very spiritual energy. And if you already talk to dead people or channel angels and stuff, 8th house is kind of that psychic house. So you're picking up a lot of speed here. So some of you Leos may have a spiritual breakthrough regarding your non-ordinary perceptual ability in the month of April. Okay. It's a good time for you to do some high magic because it's the house of magic, with caution, of course. But yeah, April's good for your magic as well. Okay, I'm going to move to the next sign and we're going forward. Sometimes I think I'm going to lose my voice doing this stuff. Virgo, sun, moon, and rising sign. Let's draw a card first, okay? Virgos, my daughter's a Virgo rising. My best friend's a Virgo rising. I have so many of you guys. Spider. Woo! That's a beautiful card, spider. Now, I think I know what that one means, but I'm going to check because I don't want to mix it up with the other cards. Here we go. Spider, creator of prosperity through life's work dharma. Ah, nice. It's an ingenious creator weaving a thread of dharma in your life. It requires hard work, so don't be impatient. There's a lot of creativity this month for you. Your work can seem like it's weaving itself into a magical and priceless tapestry. So when you're in balance with this energy in April, you are appreciative, enthusiastic, and prosperous. And if you're out of balance, you feel discouraged, tired, and forlorn. To bring yourself into balance, Virgos, playful creativity. Okay. And my son is a Virgo sun. Do I ever have a lot of Virgo people around? Me. Okay. So let's talk about your sky. You know, the reset of the Saturn conjunct Mars combination in your sixth house of work really does speak to that card. In what way are you resetting a cycle to do with your work habits and daily routines around work and health? And in some way, you're going to do it differently over the next 2 years. Go back to March of 2020. How may have you been making resets in the work and health routines part of your sky then? This is your collegiate coworker space with your colleagues and people in the workspace. That's resetting as well. And of course, March of 2020, it reset because we had a pandemic and everybody started to work from home. Here comes another reset. And it could be everything from no masks at the workplace to we all have to go back to the office to even find a brand new place to work. Okay, keep that in mind. With Venus bonifying this part of the sky and Juno, the goddess of contracts and agreements, a new job, a new work opportunity, a promotion even, is definitely in the offing for some of you Virgos. So you're getting a new job, getting a promotion, getting a reward at work, getting a financial reward, things like that. I would also say that you're baking in a sacred flame of devotion over the next 2 years to your work. You really want, with that Vestal flame baked into this part of the sky at the reset, to make sure that you're devoted to your work, that it feels like it's something that's of service to the greater good, but you also enjoy the darn thing. So you may find that one of the new resets is the fact, am I devoted to this? Am I enjoying this? Is this right for me? Now, with the energy of this reset trining a fertility goddess, Isis, as well, which I'm going to talk about in my monthly video in more depth, it definitely opens up some sort of new growth, flooding the Nile River Valley, you know, of prosperity in your career house as well, where the asteroid's traveling. So yay, this is definitely for most of you Virgos a flourishing reset in the direction of career. I know my Virgo rising real estate friend wants to downsize and basically get out of the grind of the daily work, I think, and so more of a retirement vibe for her. But for some of you, it may be up leveling to a better job or a new goal or a new promotion and things like that, more money, etc. Now, your Jupiter-Neptune reset in Pisces that happened last in 1856 April is happening again this April. So again, that's preciously rare, is in your marriage house. If you're with somebody and you're dating, you're going to end up like committing. If you're committed, you're going to get engaged. If you're engaged, you're going to set the wedding date. It's all about up leveling, expanding the relationship. There's no doubt about it. That's what Jupiter's trying to do there from December 29th to May 11th. So look for some proposals for your marriage thingy or choices to move in together, things like that. You're really expanding and you got a real glow on, okay, in the primary love relationship. Now, I'm not going to lie about one thing. Jupiter is the god of blessed endings. And Neptune is a god of illusion and delusion. You might come to a stark realization that the person you're with isn't the one for you because you've been trying to gloss over, like, and rose-colored glasses, the fact that your person is a psychopathic, narcissistic asshole or something. But, you know, if that happens, it's something better is coming, especially in the fall, October, November, December, when Jupiter's back there and would deliver a better partner, for example. But for most of you, it's just expanding and opening and growing and fertilizing some goodness in your primary love story. Now, if you're business partners, everything I have said applies to your business partner. All right. So just transfer that story over to business partnerships as well. And lastly, if you use the internet or you want to use YouTube and video stuff, Neptune rules that in your seventh house with Jupiter. Great opportunity, great growth and expansion to use internet stuff or video and film and photography stuff to reach your clients, marketplace, and audience. This is true for you in a way it hasn't been true since 2011 with Neptune moving through your seventh house. Only now is it got Jupiter's blessings in a really profound way. So your viral hit, you're going, to really kill it by using video. So yeah, Reels and TikTok and YouTube and stuff like that. So if you're a Virgo who uses that kind of modality to outreach, this is a great time for you. All right, let's keep moving. Libra, sun, moon, and rising sign. So balanced Libras. Let's see what you get for your card draw of this month. And then we're going to move. I always laugh because people think Libras are balanced, but what you do is strive for balance. And I find a lot of Libras, especially rising signs, but even sun and moon, mostly sun and rising, they're workaholics. They often find it's hard to find the work-play balance in their life. And they're ruled by Venus, which is the goddess of joy and enjoyment and play. And yet sometimes that's a struggle. Or in partnerships, I find Libras are often codependent or have a hard time saying no or getting what they want because they're favoring diplomacy and peace. All right, so it's a Panther card for you guys. So, oh, did I show you guys the card? I'm sorry. Panther. Makes me think of that. What is it? Pink Panther show. Panther. Okay, let's grab it. Sorry, yes, I have to scroll through the non-alphabetically ordered mess in here. Panther. Annihilation of the unnecessary, purging. Wow. Oh my God. Okay. It's basically to get a more fulfilling life by getting rid of the stuff you don't need, basically. So when you're in balance, you will be brave and productive. When you're out of balance in April, you will be self-destructive. And to bring yourself into balance, you will get rid of all things that are not necessary. Oh my gosh. Time to do your Marie Kondo. Does this bring me joy? Or does this person bring me joy? Or does this job bring me joy? All right, Libras. So let's talk about your sky, right? Oh, this table is moving again. I don't know if you guys see like, wah, 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 the videos that moving with my table. So let's talk about the sky for Libra. It's going to be good. Now, number one, you're experiencing a synodic cycle of the conjunction of Saturn with Mars. It happened in March of 2020, resetting back then. The same area it's resetting now for another 2-year reset. And the reset is in your 5th house. And this is where you find your joy, your fun, your play, your pleasure. This is your romance. This is your vitality. This is your hearing the muse and being creative. So it's funny, it ties in with a Panther card. It's really, Panther says, get rid of what doesn't bring you joy. And the reset with Saturn in your 5th house since December of 20 to March of 23 makes having fun hard. Right? You're very serious and sober minded in a fun house. But nonetheless, this is a reset. And so Mars wants you to move in a new direction, make decisions and choices that bring you more joy. And if you want a relationship, Mars can bring you quite the hot lover energy here as well. But you're resetting a cycle for a couple of years. So keep that in mind, and you will have great fertility coming from it as well. But I'll be talking about that more in the mid-month videos. This is a reset happening, I should say, early month on April 4th. I would think that you could find the experience of this very, very frustrating, because I don't think joy goes really well with a Saturn conjunction with Mars. Okay. Just to be honest. So you might find some frustration in trying to achieve your joy and fun and play and pleasure. Like you really want to go and do something fun, but you're something holding you back. But it will pass. It's more like if, through the frustration and through the, feeling of stuck, you might find a breakthrough that's available to you from this energy for sure, especially given it's all square Uranus. So you could get a really lovely chunk of, no wonder I'm not having fun, and this is how I can get fun. Venus is trying to help. She's there at the day of this conjunction at the end of the sign of Aquarius, her last day in Aquarius. So she's like, I'll help. How can I bring some fun here? Joy, play, and pleasure. Could be through a woman, a connection with a female, or again, the romantic story. It could be a date that you've set up on Tinder sometime in early April, or Bumble, or any of those things, or meet somebody, and it could actually initiate a real significant relationship for you. So keep that in mind. With Saturn there, it would be one that's likely to last. Find your devotional flame of creativity. What is it you wish to devote yourself to creatively, Libras? Where are you inspired? Are you feeling your enthusiasm that you would keep going for 2 years? Now, lastly, fertility and babies come out of this house. And if you're a Libra with a partner or you are potentially fertile, and this is a reset button here, yeah, be cautious. I don't know. It could be getting pregnant when you don't want to be pregnant and feeling it's a burden, or feeling unsure about what to do about a pregnancy. So just knowing that that's there is forewarned, is forearmed. Now, you do have this much nicer energy, much nicer, of Jupiter with Neptune over in Pisces, one sign over, in your 6th house of work. Now you're golden here. You Libras are starting to flow in your work and health routines, and you're getting this reset that's, you won't have it again because it last happened in 1850 regarding the work you do. Now you might just be visioning and dreaming into, with Neptune, Jupiter, really what you want to have in your health and work stories, really. Jupiter can bring you a health teacher or guide. Neptune can mean non-ordinary healing like hypnosis, right? Neptune rules mesmerism or hypnosis, to heal your health problems, and a very enchanted, magical, supernatural vibe here in April for healing the body through non-ordinary means, through Jupiter, guide, teacher, mentor, or something like that solution. But also, in your work, you might want to really aspire to a higher vision for the work you're doing in the world and not limit yourself. This is your chance to dream big about what it is you really want in your career path. This is trining your career house, right? Yay, you. And Jupiter is definitely going to bring some luck here. And I'll go into a lot more depth in the middle of the month about this, but get the vibe, right? How can you amplify your career success? Some of you may even be called with Jupiter and Neptune in the career house to take a course of learning, like professional education of some kind, that can really enhance your work and bring you greater power, vision, and excitement and imagination and enthusiasm around your work. And that's that for you Libra people, sun, moon, and rising. Let's go for Scorpio. Let's pick a card. Now, hang on. I need to get a stretch going here. For Scorpio, I'm going to pause, get more water, and stretch. I'll be right back. All right, you have to laugh. Only Scorpios would get the vulture card. It's just so Scorpionic to get a vulture, guys. I mean, I'm laughing, but what can you do? I drew vulture for you, and so we're going to go with vulture. I have no idea what it means, but this is for you in the month of April. Despite the glorious sky, we have a scavenger bird in your story. Vulture. Oh, yes, give me 1,000 years to find it in her book. I could have done that before I got on the recording with you guys again. Sorry, vulture. Don't forget, guys, I said this in the beginning, sign up for my newsletter. I should have reminded everybody, and you could get all the signs forecast videos, 12 videos, 60 minutes each for free, which is insane that I'm offering that, honestly. But I want to bump my newsletter and by my birthday get to 1,000 subscribers. So check the description box below for that exciting offer. Vulture. Okay, I'm pausing while I look. Give me a minute. I found it. Vulture, guardian and purifier, essential for rebalance. So the vulture is the most misunderstood creature of all. Intriguing bird, balances our ecosystem and prevents the spread of disease. When this card appears, there's a situation that needs to be purified or brought back into balance, and the vulture is greatly undervalued. Okay, so when you're in balance with this vulture energy in April, you clarifies, reveals wisdom, and out of balance, you are dramatic and aggressive. And to bring yourself into balance, clean your space and sage it. Oh my God, I got a great sage wand over here. So get saging, guys. I'm going to sage today too. So let's start off by talking about what the sky shows me for you, Scorpio, sun, moon, especially rising sign. Now, number one, the energy of this synodic recycle set of Saturn and Mars that happened back in 2020 March. Ask yourself how you reset your home life then, your domestic life, where you live, things going on in your home. Of course, a lot of us built a home office. We had to start working from home if you didn't already. So yeah, there was that. But what other resets did you make in your domestic, private, and home life back in March of 2020? I hope I said 2020, because that's what's resetting now. And yeah, we had lockdowns, but what other ways did you reset your private domestic life? Now you're doing it again, your home life, where you live, things with your partner, your house, your family. This is also your family of origin, a house of ancestors and stuff like that. Now, you do have Venus here. So it's a positive thing. She's kind of bonifying the reset, if you ask me, saying, yes, even though it's a difficult reset, Saturn is what you can reset for longevity, endurance, and legacy. And Mars is action, decisions, and choices. And then Venus is hovering nearby, going, looking back on her shoulder and going, yeah, and it's all good. It's all good. So what prosperous, beautiful, aesthetically appreciative ways are you resetting your home life? Are you painting the whole place all up? Are you redecorating possibly? Are you going to sell or buy a new home or get ready to move? These are things that can happen with this synodic cycle reset in your fourth house, because perhaps you need to move on. Maybe it's you felt stuck in your home or something's holding you there and you're not crazy about it. And now it's getting a sense of, okay, let's reset this and let's get something going forward. Now, the reset lasts 2 years. It doesn't mean you have to wait 2 years to move. Okay. It's just letting you know that this is like picking up speed in the sky. The question is, probably the time that it's likely to occur, which I'll go into more detail in my all signs, but for you guys, since it's important, is probably when Mars is in Taurus, which will be in the month of July. So in late June and into July, well, let me think about that. In most of July into the first week of July into the third week of August, right? You're going to have an energy that says things that are resetting now could really, really kick in for you regarding your home. So some of you will be doing a new addition to your home, building something in your home, moving your home, beautifying your home. Home things are shifting. Now, I do like the fact that, Juno's here for some of you. That's a new lease, signing a new contract or agreement, or moving because of or with a partner. If you were a single Scorpio, you could meet somebody and that relationship wants to include, let's move in together. And that could be a great reset as well. If you are also wanting to feel a sense of connection to your home, where you cook and you love your kitchen and it's a sacred devotion to the chefing up and tending the hearth, the Vestal flame is resetting with this. And it's almost like be connected to your home in the next 2 years in a way that you feel like the whole home is where the heart is, and the hearth of the home, the kitchen, the cooking, the sharing of food with friends. That's a very active part of your sky Scorpio over the next 2 years. That theme. Now, the Jupiter joining since 1856 hasn't happened, 1856, with Neptune in Pisces is happening in your fifth house of romance. And if you are a single Scorpio, this could be the soulmate, twin flame, divine complement, dream love, big love story. Okay, no doubt about it. Now, Jupiter's there till the middle of in your fifth house until the middle of May. It's been there since December. Some of you may have restarted that big love energy already, and it's really solidifying and digging in for sure with this connection of Jupiter and Neptune. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not worried about rose-colored glasses. Jupiter's bonifying in this very positive house of good fortune energy, the fifth house. I think some of you are finding your dream partner. Now, if you're with somebody, this could really pick up the level of spiritual connection and in-depth connection and unconditional love between the one you're with and you. And if you want a baby, this is so pregnancy-ish. Okay, Jupiter is sperminating when he goes through the fifth house. He's been sperminating the fifth house of your chart for you or your partner since when? Since December 29, 2021 through to May 11th-ish, and you're going to get someone pregnant if you're not careful, or they're going to get pregnant or whatever. So be cautious if that's not a goal, but this is very auspicious for a very beautiful news that maybe there's a baby on the way, or that somebody got pregnant. So yeah, there's that. And if you are artistic, musical, you're a painter, you're a singer, you're a songwriter, you're a musician, you're a filmmaker, you're an actor, this Neptune Jupiter is golden. This is a real positive development, something you create now under this influence, particularly around April 12th, but the whole month of April is so enchanted. You could actually write your best-selling song, hit, book, novel, etc. Come down with the idea that then lends itself to this, oh my God, super powered, super success creation of some kind. The fifth house is your independent business enterprise. This is also just as auspicious for your entrepreneurial endeavors, Scorpio. Okay. But like for the creative Scorpios, this is just one huge blessing in the house of your muse. So run with it. It's so beautiful. Moving on. Sagittarius, sun, moon, rising sign. Let's make sure I'm still recording because I keep turning it off. I am, thank God. Let's grab a card for you and then go into the sky story. Well, number one, Tagger. You're not the only one who got Tagger. You know who else did? Aries. And so 2 fire signs got a Tagger. Tagger, burning bright. You cannot make this stuff up. All right. So Sagittarius, what is the Tagger energy for you? This is year of the water Tagger in Chinese astrology or whatever. So FYI, everyone. Let me find Tiger again. Oh, I'm just getting a hunger attack, guys. I need food. Tiger. Coming up. Here we go. Lunar force, ease and darkness, feminine energy, passionate, strong, and sensual when you are balanced. When you're out of balance in April, you're overstimulated. And to bring in balance, you need to do candle gazing. So Tiger takes advantage of boons and let me see what else. Take time. Take in the wild darkness to allow the lunar forces to soothe and heal your spirits. Be receptive. Spend time in silence, drinking in the potent calm. So it's literally about kind of going into that yin vibe. You know, fire signs don't do yin well. I'm Aries and you guys are Sagittarius. And so, yeah, it's like kind of more sort of calm, receptive, dark, still energy for us. Okay, so let's talk next then about your sky. So you Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising sign people. Guess what? You get this energy of the resetting of the synodic cycle of Mars and Saturn, which happened back in March of 2020 in the same part of your sky, which is your third house. Now, this is a house of your siblings and sometimes aunts, uncles, and cousins. It's short trips and travel, and we all got locked down and didn't get to do it. I know one Sag son who loves to travel, and he got locked in because of this. A lot of Sagittarius are big world travelers. It locked in some issues around skills-based learning and short distance, like, you know, learning something, short distance travel as well. And finally, maybe things to do with writing. You're maybe stuck in your writing or, you know, whatever. Like things were happening in that part of your sky back in 2020 that reset at the beginning of our pandemic. Okay, so now you're resetting again. As I said, I think it's the end of the pandemic. You're going to be on trains, planes, and automobiles. You're going to be traveling all over the place and doing more adventures for sure. You might pick up a learning, a skills-based learning that you want to learn something you can use particularly professionally. And you may also find that your sibling relationships are changing. One of them in particular may have stalled and now it may be picking up some momentum or some reset with an aunt, uncle, cousin, or sibling. With Venus here, she wants goodness, friendliness, and kindness to prevail in that relationship, as well as with Juno, signing a contract agreement, legal agreement, or connecting with a sibling, aunt, uncle, or cousin over some collaborative endeavor for some Sagittarius people. Also, what do you want to devote yourself to? Because there's a devotional flame in this part of the house baking in your third house. This could be learning something that is truly a sacred calling or something that you wish you feel a devotional flame for. Now let's be moving on to the conjunction of Neptune and Jupiter happened in 1856. This is your once in a lifetime event. Yay, you. It's happening in your fourth house of home, land, and real estate. Well, there's no doubt about it. Some of you are going to buy, sell, or move or connect to new homeland and real estate stories. There's just no way you're not, but in a very auspicious, very positive way. And so it could be moving towards water. Neptune is there, moving towards some kind of shore or shoreline or water in sight vibe, your dream home, an amplification around the idea of joy in the home and vision and visionary experiences in and from your home, using your imagination in your home in a new way, and maybe using film and video and videography in and from home to work from home with that kind of stuff for some Sagittarius, especially with Jupiter here. How can you be a home-based leader and teacher using video photography and visionary abilities as well? A home-based visionary. And if you're moving, there's luck here, right? This is an auspicious, lucky Jupiter thing. Visioning your new home. It could be a very powerful thing to do in April, but it may just come to you that you know where you're going to move to next anyway, with or without a visioning way of looking at it. And anything else I'd say, Sagittarius? Nope. That's it. Moving you guys forward into the next sign. And the next sign, of course, is going to be the sign of Capricorn. We're running to the finish line, guys. I'm hoping not to make this more than a 75-minute video. Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising sign. Your card is Peacock. Oh, how beautiful is that? I haven't pulled that card for, I don't know. I haven't seen that card for a long time. So I've not been pulling Peacock myself. So Peacock is obviously an air sign. It is one of the birds. And let's go to the bird section. I actually opened straight to Peacock. No, that's a nice change in how things have been going with this deck. Inner beauty, compassion, assimilator of anything. The beauty of the Peacock is unrivaled, and It helps you assimilate or digest all experiences in life. It doesn't harbor resentment or past pain within its psyche. The peacock is extremely rare. Not many of us have reached this advanced level of acceptance of self and others. Well, good for you. And so when you're in balance this month, you're confident and you're kind. Out of balance, you cannot digest situations, indigestion of that situation. And in balance, you meditate on your navel, navel gazing. All right, moving on. What does the sky tell us about what's happening? So let's go to the Mars conjunction with Saturn. Happened in March of 2020. It was the beginning of the lockdowns for the pandemic, as I said earlier. How does this play out in your natal sky? Well, you reset then, and you're going to reset again. So don't forget, this is a second reset in the same part of the sky for a 2-year period, which is a reset in your house of your money, your earnings, the way you make money, your self-possession and self-worth that allows you to make money, your voice and vocation and calling that brings in the money. It's the resources and possessions you have, your home, maybe your car, the things that you need to survive and to build a thrive in your life. So you reset something way the heck back, and now that reset's finished, whatever that was back in March of 20, and now here's a new reset. Now you can feel frustration sometimes when Saturn and Mars are together, but on the other hand, you can feel ambitious and driven and disciplined and focused and on your game around your money story, particularly when it comes to your career and how your money and career tie together. So there's a reset here. I know one Capricorn just started a new job within a division in his company that's tying in with this reset. So there's a sense of a reset of money stories and earning stories and wealth stories for you guys. Now, Venus is here during the reset, bonifying it, making it all happy. She's a money goddess. So this is a particularly auspicious 2-year period for your earnings. If you're a Capricorn and this is happening for you, dig in and go for it. Do not think it's time to lean back and slouch, man. This is your time. Especially, I'll go in more detail in the mid-month and during the video I'll do for the actual aspect, but just want a teaser for you. You know, there's a lot of fertility and flow energy coming in your 6th house of work habits and routines because of the Isis factor. So you may really feel a new kind of flow and harmony and yet hard work, ambition, and drive around your work. I would also say that you are commanding your story, right? I mean, you're Saturnian, you're Capricorn rising, Saturn's your guy. You know, you have an affiliation with Saturn, so you're able to command things here. This is a good time to ask for a raise. This is a good time to make sure that you're getting paid what you're worth, really, because if you push for it, you probably get what you want. Honestly, for you guys, I think this could be a really good time to level up and ask for more money if it's required, because you don't think it's as fair or you're not getting enough. Just a thought, right? Certainly by the time we get to July, August, when Mars is going to do a kind of over his shoulder look back at Saturn from the sign of Taurus in a half square, you'll see what the output is for this push around earnings. You'll begin to see another stage of fruition in that area of the sky. Now, the Jupiter connecting with Neptune hasn't happened since 1856 event. It's happening in your natal 3rd house. This can really open up some kind of travel for you, and maybe a lot, even a commuting kind of vibe, but it's also very auspicious. And any kind of traveling you do is very fortunate for you. It feels expansive. It's connected to visions and higher visions. Now, truly, if you are traveling in April, especially in the middle of the month, this trip is exquisite. You may find something about this trip is enchanted, magical. It's full of rainbows and unicorns and fairy godmothers. It's over the top. So there's that, but it's also the theme of saying what it wants to be born into a higher imagination regarding trips and journeys and travels in your sky. In your 3rd house, you could also have some renewal of a relationship with a sibling here. You could also find that there's some expansion and glorious goodness and dreamy enchantment of a rainbow around things to do with something you're learning, a skills-based learning of some kind. Especially if you're an artist or artistic as a Cap rising, because you know Neptune is film and video and music and stuff, and Jupiter's opportunity and learning. And this is a very important one because, of course, it's such a rare conjunction. Anything else I'd say about that? You know, for you, I'd say just reminding you that Jupiter, you know, resetting your 3rd house. I mean, he is the dude who also activates your 12th. And so Sagittarius 12th house, and really draw from the deep well of your imagination, your dreams and your goals from a deep soulful place, and even your dreams at night, because something magical is happening in that third house. It is the house of the goddess. It has to do with synchronicity and diviners and scryers and seers. It's an ideal time to see one of those people in April. If you want to see a tarot reader or a fortune teller or something like that, this is a good month to do that. And especially around the 12th, something good could come through that person for you that's really just is divinely inspired. Okay. Lastly, if you're writing anything, this is channeled writing. I mean, this is a house of writing. Jupiter, Neptune together is you're channeling like the next big thing, like Seth Speaks or A Course in Miracles. Those are channeled work. So any caps who channel, this is your thing. This is a good time for that. All right, Aquarius, sun, moon, and rising sign. Let's get rolling. Number one, let's pick a card for you guys. I'm Aquarius rising, guys. Saturn on my sun, it's south node there too. I disclose all. Hermes, the asteroid in my first house as well. Lamb. Ooh, the lamb. Makes it the lamb of God, the lamb. Can you see that? Lamb. So let's take a look at the lamb card for us Aquarians. Somehow that feels very rainbows. The colors in the card are so beautiful. All right, lamb. Give me a minute. You know the drill. If you're watching me search through the book in non-alphabetical order, it's very frustrating. Lamb. Peaceful, prophetic, and patient. Whoa, prophetic. All right. The lamb is a bearer of an important message, and its contents can only be heard at a deep level of quiet. Ooh. And we could get some honest guidance from a friend or a child or even from a stranger. So it's like messages coming from other people through this lamb energy for us in April. Truth is a gift. Sit still, receive, and listen. So if we're in balance with the lamb this month, Aquarians, we are going to have knowingness and inner peace. And without balance, out of balance, we can be quiet, timid, and concerned. And in balance, we are meditative and listening. Okay, so I'll keep that in mind and get back to my meditations. All right, so talk about the sky story for Aquarius, sun, moon, and rising sign. Well, hey, guess what? This is us. We're Aquarius. It's happening in our house. I remember in March of 2020, I was having a difficult time because I was resetting my sobriety story. I was getting ready to join the Sober Sisters movement. And that was a reset around my physical addictions and habits and patterns because it was happening in the house of my body. All right, so keep that in mind. However, I did successfully do some big resets around those things back in March of 2020 as lockdown was coming into existence. What area of your body, what area of your health, what area of your identity is needing to reset for you Aquarians and is going to reset for the next 2 years in a new direction? I'm starting Pilates. That's so Mars, right? Saturn is structure and discipline, and Mars is exercise. And I signed up for a Pilates studio, and I've never done Pilates with the machine. So it's something new for me. So we're resetting something new with our health, with our body, with our well-being. And we're also, because we're having Saturn come through the house of our identity, especially for Aquarius rising, this is like a Saturn reset button, making us sober-minded, realistic, determined, and perseverant about what we want in our lives for our lives. And it's setting a new 30-year cycle for us. And so now we had Mars saying, and let me chime in and reset for you Aquarians with perseverance and discipline and action and choices that are aligned with the Saturnian imperative. Is it lasting? Is it foundational? Is it worth it? Do you want to build that legacy thing or not? So these are really, really intense times for us Aquarians, especially with this reset. The good news is Venus is there, and she's like, oh, guys, I love you. How are you doing in this reset? She's looking over her shoulder. She's at the end of Aquarius, but she still is there. And so she's kind of like, owning the space with some love and kind of giving Aquarius is a kind of sense of it's all good. It's all going to work out. We're going to get this thing right. I trust the universe. This wasn't happening in the March reset last time, right? In 2020, Venus was out of Aquarius by that time. So this is something special for us. It has such beauty around it. How do we want to reset our appearance? I'm going to get a haircut. How do we want to reset our physical form and refine our bodies in some way and our identities as well? Venus, Saturn, the wise crone. Venus, Saturn, the sober-minded, beautiful one. Things like that are energetically arising for Aquarius, independent of your age. Money. Venus is a money goddess in the house of us as Saturn resets with Mars. What directions Mars that are legacy and enduring will we take regarding our earnings and money stories? Just a thought, because Venus exalts our second house of money. So yeah. And so we kind of go into a realistic energy with new directions for our body and our money stories, thanks to this reset. There's a devotional flame present with it. So Aquarius, we won't reset in an area that we don't really want to devote ourselves to. That sacred devotional vestal energy is like, what flame will you keep alive that matters to you? Because if it's not worth tending, you won't go there. So there's almost a quality of sacred devotion to this new direction in physical health and earnings and beauty as well, and art, because Venus rules art. And there's thrival, but we'll get to that in a more detailed Venus with that thrival from the energy of Isis, activating this story as well. But we'll do that in another video, because there's a lovely Mars trine to Isis, and that can open up some real creativity and fertility and muse-driven inspiration for us as well. Now, when we move over to, and money luck too, and when we move over to the other story, which is the Neptune-Jupiter conjunction in our money house, our second house, and reminding us that Venus is bonifying the reset, this is really also a kind of a trickling over energy. Venus will enter on April 5th into our money house and join that Jupiter-Neptune conjunction. So we can see great opportunities that are blessed and lucky around financial opportunity and gain through our selling a possession, maybe having an opportunity around our work, finding something prosperous coming through our vocational path. And, this is an energy that is not done yet. It's happening, yes, in April, but this is a new synodic direction that Jupiter-Neptune want to take us into, dreaming a bigger dream, a bigger vision for your prosperity, using internet video and things like that as well for your prosperity, studying Jupiter with some teacher of Neptunian things to enhance your prosperity. Those are examples. And yet, with Jupiter coming back at the end of the year, especially end of October, November into third week of December, whatever we're building now in this prosperity reset with the Neptune, Jupiter can happen to unfold again later in the year when Jupiter's back to reseason the land that he was on. I'd say that women in particular, because in April, Venus is moving through our second house, can really be supportive of our financial prosperity. And you may have lucky breaks through women as well regarding your money and earnings story. All right, so that's about all I want to say. I'm going to go into more detail about this aspect in much greater detail in a mid-month video. And that's for the April 12th Jupiter-Neptune conjunction, which hasn't happened since 1856. Oh my goodness. Last but not least, I am so ready to finish up and get some food. We're talking about Pisces, and let me give it a few minutes, Pisces, while I advance my sky, although I know where you are. Pisces, sun, moon, and rising sign people. Let's draw a card first, and then we'll move into the actual thing. All right, the thing. Sorry, I have to shuffle. That wasn't shuffled, and I had an upside down card, which I don't do upside down. Okay, here we go. Turtle. All right, so Pisces, it is a turtle. You get a turtle. God, I'm having a really weird thing in my hair that I can't straighten out. Turtle. All right. What is turtle about? Well, first of all, it's an earth sign. And you guys are water. So there's an interesting blend. Earth and water makes mud. Let's check out your April. Turtle, where are you? All right. I'm just going to go page by page for you guys and look for the turtle. Turtle, ancient soul, grounded, trusting, at home in the self. Turtle is, it's wonderful to be in the presence of turtle energy. It's like the beaver, strong relationship to the earth and water. Simultaneously helps you ground, Pisces, and connect to the deeper truths of life, no matter where your travels lead you. And this energy is behind all great writers and all great storytellers. Any of you Pisces thinking of penning a book? The most potent turtle energy helps us close all the other books and begin to tell our own true tale. When you're in balance in April, you are peaceful, adventurous, and productive. And Pisces, out of balance, you slow down to a halt. And to bring yourself into balance, you need to take an adventure, go on an adventure. All right. Let's look at the sky, and then we're going to be done. All right. So sky stories. So Pisces, sun, moon, and rising. Let's talk about the synodic reset of the Mars-Saturn conjunction in your 12th house of your self-addiction, self-undoing, and self-sabotage, and also hospitals and stuff like that, insane asylums and prisons. So you're resetting there. Go back to March of 2020. How did you reset in that part of your sky? It was a lockdown time, but I'm not sure how that impacted you when we first had lockdowns for COVID. But there's a vibe here of a reset where you reset already. Here we go, reset number 2. Venus is there bonifying and saying, let's bring a positive reset. Let's bring more joy from this reset. Let's bring more beauty and love from this reset. And, you know, when the Vestal Flame says, are you devoted to this reset? Now, this is very spiritual. This is your enlightenment moksha house. This is where you're connected to Dharma, your life's purpose, and God, because it squares the ninth. It's, you know, it's an intercosmos between the world's house. Your dreams at night can be empowered here, but it's resetting your deeper spiritual life. This is really very private energy. This is not visible, really. This is within yourself. Now, it can be somebody you know, male, Mars, Saturn, beleaguered, restricted, or stuck, and you may have to deal with them because they are in a beleaguered, stuck place and they're in a hospital or something, or not doing well physically. There's that possibility, and you'll know where this is taking you by the time you get to the first quarter square, and that'll be happening in the month of July and August. You know, there's a vibe that you're going to know where this leads. But in the meantime, if it's not about some male in your life, maybe having difficulty in their story regarding illness or health challenges, incarcerations, or mental insane asylums, then it's really about your inner life. And it's a really good time to clean up the sabotaging patterns you have and break away, break free, and start some new direction around your inner life. Now, with the Jupiter-Neptune in the house of you, you know, all Pisces rising, but your sun and moon could be nearby as well, right? Are having an amazing experience of this 1856 return conjunction in the house of your identity. Now, you guys are already the poet mystics of the zodiac. You're all inclined to like transpersonal, interdimensional realities. You tend to be artistic and mystical at any way. And now you've got this kind of Jupiter-Neptune opening here in the house of you. So if you have already the ability to channel, to read, you know, the skies, to be a mystic, to be a poet, to be a zodiac, creative artist, transpersonal type, this is just amplifying this. This is just bringing you into a whole new level of power. You are like going places with this. If you want to be creative, like artistic, musical, filmmaking, photography, yay, you're on top of it. This is a reset. This is taking you in that direction with greater force, power, and grace. You are lucky because Jupiter is going through the house of you. You bring your luck. Luck comes to you. You get the luck, and you are very entwined. Now your luck around April 12th is connected to Neptune. So luck from things to do with like mystics, seers, and poets around the world, but you are that person as well. I say this is good for your health because you can do magical health healings when this happens. Neptune's transpersonal. Neptune's a god that would fix your body with some kind of super woo. And now Jupiter says opportunity. So this is the ideal time to see a quantum healing hypnosis person, a shaman, or something like that, who could really bring you some incredible self-healing or help you heal yourself or something like that, or just do it yourself. Around April 12th, good time to do an all-purpose meditation on your physical wellness as well. And if you need to break away from anything that you do that's an addiction, and Jupiter brings luck and Neptune rules addictions, and here it's in the house of your body, things that you do that sabotage your body, 2 quarts of Haagen-Dazs before bed, you're going to end that pattern, I think, but you end it by opening to something greater rather than pulling away and feeling like you had scarcity or restriction or loss of something you want, but rather an opening to something greater. And a mystical experience directly encountered by you can definitely happen around the 12th of April, give or take a few days. So let's see what happens. Maybe you will bump into God while you're shopping at the grocery store and have a conversation. And next thing you know, you're telling the world about it. So let's see how that plays out. You know, Jupiter is coming up with Neptune, and he's expanding and getting mystified and spiritualized, and he does own your career house. So as well, maybe some new career openings happen through this mystical journey of the month of April that redirect your career in some way. All righty, guys, thanks for listening. Don't forget, it's all free, all 12 signs, hour-long videos, the whole package, $47 value is now given away for nothing for the month of April. Well, starting when this video goes live. So before then, let's say between March 23rd and April 21st, I am giving away that content, which is crazy because we got a whole many months of year ahead of us. And I'm giving it away in exchange for you signing up for my newsletter. That's it. And if you don't want to quit the newsletter after a while because you don't like it, you still get the gift. You get it as soon as you sign up. All right. Happy April, everybody. I hope it's an amazing month for you. Thanks for listening to this very long, I think, on a 90-minute video. Ciao, ciao, everyone. Bye-bye. Like, subscribe. Thank you.